is particularly well qualified. He is a solution architect at State Farm, working for State Farm for some other company, and also very well, I would say well read and well educated in the wonderful scriptures, especially what Srila Prabhupada has given us for our own purification for the process of bhakti. He is a little bit under weather today, but he was very kind to agree to still go ahead and speak to us. So we are very grateful to him to, despite not giving the best of health, agreeing to speak to us. So let us, with our warm heart, express our gratitude to him by now be chanting. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. So we'll be having Katha, after which we'll be depending on the time, we can go a little bit more deeper in the end, and then we'll be having dinner prasad. And again, a warm welcome to all the guests who have come possibly for the first time. So we will welcome you once more with small gifts at the end of the program.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo 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 Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayanam Namaskritya
Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Jayam Dive
Adorayam Divaye
Astapayeshu Abhadreshu
Nashakareshu Abhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavate Uttamashloke
Bhagavate Uttamashloke
Bhagavati Naistiki
Bhagavate Bhagavati Naistiki
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Kumaraya
Manadolopakumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namaha
Govindaya Namo Namaha
Om Ajnanatimirandasya
Om Ajnanatirandasya
Jnananjanashalakaya
Jnananjanashalakaya
Chakshurumilitam Yena
Chakshurumilitam Yena
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha
Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam
Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam
Sthapitam Yena Bhutale
Sthapitam Yena Bhutale
Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam
Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam
Dadati Swapadantikam
Dadati Swapadantikam
He Krishna Karuna Sindhu
He Krishna Karuna Sindhu
Dinabandhu Jagatpate
Dinabandhu Jagatpate
Gopesha Gopika Kanta
Gopesha Gopika Kanta
Sri Radha Kanta Namostute
Sri Radha Kanta Namostute
Bhakta Kanchana Gaurani
Bhakta Kanchana Gaurani
Sri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari
Sri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari
Vrishabhanusute Devi
Vrishabhanusute Devi
Pranamami Hari Priye
Pranamami Hari Priye
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
Sindhubhya eva cha
Vipasindhubhya eva cha
Patitanam pavanebhyo
Patitanam pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha
Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda
Prabhu Nityananda
Sri Advaita Gadadhar
Sri Advaita Gadadhar
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Srivasadi Gaurabhaktavrinda
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Rama Hare Hare
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna and welcome everyone to our Krishna program. Thank you Shaitanatu for giving me a wonderful introduction, which is I'm not qualified for. Thank you for your patient words. So, neither I am qualified to speak on this topic. The lessons from an American Swami. So, this is the experts from the book written by our spiritual master of His Holiness Swami, was born in America, and will briefly go through some of the lessons that he has presented to us in the form of his book, The Journey Home. So today's protocol will be to go through these items. What is a journey and what is a journey home? Dhruv, if you don't mind, can you grab a copy of Journey Home that you have? Yeah, please. Yeah, it's right there. And then we'll briefly just look at the brief description of the autobiography of an American Swami, The Journey Home book. And then I have took 4 lessons from this wonderful book called The Journey Home. Due to lack of proper time and so not do much justice, but there are so many lessons, innumerable lessons that one can derive from this wonderful book. So today we'll just go through these 4 lessons. Is it properly? Yes, okay. And then we'll watch a 5-minute Fox News Channel interview with the author of this book, His Holiness Swami. I will just also refer to certain instructions from the scriptures on these lessons. So, what is a journey and a journey home? So, I want to begin with asking this question to all of you. Just a few responses below to start this discussion. So, what is a journey according to you? Journey just not a journey of Chicago to St. Louis or Bloomington to Los Angeles or something, but journey with respect to the life. Anybody from others? Any general idea of how you correlate journey to the life?
Journey is there's a destination and then there's a purpose to go to the destination.
Very nice. So life is a journey? Yeah. Anybody else? Any thoughts?
Personal experiences through life as we go along, as we age.
Very nice. So journey is something that is filled with some experiences. Very, very wonderful point. Otherwise, a journey will not make any sense. If you have a journey which is so blank, no experiences, then what is that journey? So journey by its term itself, it is intrinsically inclusive of the fact that it has got so many personal experiences tied to it. Any other thoughts?
Journey also inculcates the means to reach the destination.
Inculcates the need, yes.
The means.
The means.
Yeah.
It also indicates the means of how you are pursuing that journey. You can go by different means. By walk, by drive, by flying. That's very nice. So, in a way, we all have got this fair idea of what a journey is. Journey, by definition, indicates a destination towards which we are marching. It indicates the experiences that we come across during our path. And it also indicates what destination we are going to. The saints and the philosophers of Eastern wisdom have time and again compared the life of a living entity to that with a journey. All of us are on our journey, whether we accept or not. And we have that experience every day. Every day we drive to our work, go to certain places where we plan during the day. Likewise, the soul in this body also is going through a certain journey, a sojourn in this material world. A sojourn is like a temporary pass-through. And these saints have time and again helped us to realize that while we are constantly trying to plan our journey on a day-to-day basis, we should also plan the journey of our life. The life, the destination beyond this life, beyond this body. And here is a story about this magnificent personality who had that sincere urge to know that what is the ultimate destination, ultimate goal of life. I will, in a moment, read about him. And the journey home is when you reach that destination where you feel that you have now come to a place where you feel fully protected, fully sheltered, and at peace that now I don't have anything else to look forward for as far as the destination is concerned. And that's why this book called as the autobiography of an American Swami, The Journey Home, as you all can see, and all of you will have an opportunity to also peek through it once the program overs. So this is basically the autobiography where the author entails that how he had gone through a tremendous journey filled with so many impediments, so many trials and tribulations, so many obstacles, so many unforeseen enemies, so many friends, so many realizations, until he reached his destination. Where, of course, it was not the end of his life, but that was a place where he got the ultimate solitude of what he wants to do for the rest of his life, and where he can see that what the goal is. So, at the age of only 19, Radha Swami was born as Richard Slim in Chicago, left his home in America seeking adventure and spiritual knowledge. He practically had no idea about who God is. He was born in an American Jewish family. He was raised as Jewish, but he was seeking something higher in life. After trekking across Europe for months, Radha Swami reached his long hope for destination. That's India. He hadn't heard about India. He just had some vague idea about what India is. But during his journey, he heard from some people that, okay, if you really want some spiritual emancipation, then you should seek a destination in India, in Himalayas, in this place, that place. So he got a lot of information, and that's how then he started, readjusting his milestone. He wanted to go from Europe to India. After living there for many years as a sadhu or wandering monk, Radha Swami returned to America in order to share the sacred knowledge and wisdom he had learned from the many holy men and women he had met there. If you go to Himalayas, and as he has explained in this book very nicely, he met so many mystic people. We hear about people having, manifesting something out of an empty fist. Like take some ash and you can make some apple or some tree or some gold coin or something. All this is possible technically. All these are different siddhis, mystic powers that one can achieve. These mystics are not supposed to be used for material cause, but the idea is when you practice celibacy, when you practice austerities, when you practice tapasya, then you attain certain powers. In Sanskrit, it's called urja, shakti, some power. And that power is further used to go forward or higher in your spiritual enlightenment. But if somebody uses that power just like a battery, the battery is getting discharged, getting charged. If you buy a new some sort of electric motor, and if you have got a battery, so you charge it. So the battery gradually it will charge itself, and when it reaches 100%, then you can make use of that particular battery into a unit, and it serves a purpose. But if in between you start draining that charged battery, what will happen? The charge level will come down. Similarly, all of us have got innate prowess, tremendous spiritual potency. And if we all can utilize that and reach to an apex point, 100% charge, then we can attain the topmost goal of life. But the moment we reach 1%, 2%, instead of looking forward, the mundane human mentality is to look downwards, thinking at how many people are behind you, and we develop a sense of pride, and that leads to fall down. So, His Holiness Radha Swami in his book explains so nicely. He came across so many sadhus, so many babas. Some of them they were still striving to attain perfection. Some of them they apparently got hooked to the idea of how I can get some more name and fame out of my mystic powers. And he explains all this for our benefit and how we should be careful about these things. And he himself, by the mercy of Lord, never fall prey to these allurements of the material world. It was an extraordinary choice, given what Radha Swami had survived to get there. A journey filled with bizarre characters. He passed through Afghanistan, he passed through some of these Middle East countries where extremely radical Islamists were there. And they threatened him to kill if he doesn't convert to Islam. And temporarily he converted. He said, okay, Allah is great, I am follower of Allah and things of that nature. He read Quran, he read Torah, he read all these books of wisdom thoroughly during his journey and even afterwards. The stories recounted in his recently published memoir, Journey Home, and reviewers have called this Radha Swami's saga at once an engaging yarn, a love story, and the evocation of a transcendent paradise in all its savagery, solitude, and splendor. What a fantastic, words of compliments to this book. So, while he has gone through these different continents, different countries, he reaches Himalayas, and on the Himalayas he started sitting and meditating for more than 30 days. He takes a vow for 30 days, but he is there for even more time. And the before that, the first lesson, the way he begins with this book is about offering his gratitude towards his mother. Because mother is that one personality who has sacrificed so many things in her life to give the necessary things to her offspring. So far, whatever limited number of spiritual leaders or saints I have read through, there is a startling commonality between these personalities. That all of them have unadulterated, undiluted affection and gratitude towards their mother. And of course, parents in general, but mother specifically. The gratitude that this author is presenting is the lesson of gratitude from her mother itself, from his mother. If you are not grateful for whatever you have, you will see you can never be happy. Because if you are not grateful, whatever you get, you expect something else, or you expect more, or you think that you deserve it. But when you are humble and grateful, then whatever comes to your life, the apparent fortune and misfortune, you can actually find happiness in that situation. And we could actually be able to see opportunity that is there to grow in that situation. Such a fantastic lesson, that gratitude. And if you look around this world, one of the most uncommon thing in this world is that gratitude, which will be the most common thing. We lack in gratitude. Gratitude towards the fellow living beings is at one step, but gratitude towards the Supreme Lord who has given us everything is even more important. I just wanted to share a small story. One time, in the Vedic times, it was a regular practice that the householders will invite the guests. In Sanskrit, it's called Atithi. Tithi means a stipulated time. Atithi means the one who comes without any specified, like heads up. Will just come, Atithi. And that's why the Eastern wisdom tells us that Atithi Devo Bhava. Anybody who is coming without giving an advance notice is actually a representative of the Supreme Lord sent you. And we are living and we are raising our family and we are having this home and this facility basically to serve such entities as part of our life. So one day, this one gentleman who was a very great devotee of the Lord also, he was standing outside and he was calling anybody who wants to come and honor lunch with us, please come. And typically people who are traveling, crossing through that village or that place will come and will honor him. So one day nobody comes. Nobody turns up. And he was there for a long time and it was his practice that without serving he will not eat. So after a long time, somebody passes through, he says, okay, I'm hungry. He said, okay, please come. I'm so fortunate. Please come. So he comes and he serves him. And then the host, this gentleman, he tells to the guest that today is so fortunate. I'm so fortunate that by the mercy of this Lord, by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of God, it's Krishna, I was able to serve you this nice prasadam. And thank you so much for honoring me. He says, what? I was hungry and you were asking for someone to come and honor the food, the lunch, and I accepted your invite and you came. Why does this Krishna come into picture? I don't believe in that. Don't thank him. If you want to thank me. If that's what you meant. Then this person felt very bad. And then that person, of course, he didn't say anything, and the guest left. And then he was thinking, oh Lord, please forgive me. Today, by mistake, I served an atheist. I served a person who doesn't have any gratitude and love for you. And because he was a pure devotee of the Lord just comes to his mind, says that, my dear devotee, you're feeling bad for making one ungrateful person today. For just one person who ate your own food and gave it back to you, chastised you and went back, blasphemed you and went back. Think about me. I'm feeding millions and millions of living entities every day. They eat the food that is being grown by my mercy, and then they take ill names about me. How should I feel? Lack of gratitude. So the acharyas explain, the predecessors, the spiritual teachers, they explain that gratitude is a very, very important aspect of our life. Without the gratitude, we cannot make progress in our life. Not progress, but we can't become a good human being for that matter. And that gratitude is not just for spiritual practices. Even our day-to-day life, if somebody is thirsty and if someone gives the water to him, he says thank you. That's an expression of gratitude. If someone helps us, it's a gratitude that we help. So the gratitude, which is punctuated by reciprocity, is a very natural instinct of the pure living entity. But because of the impurities that are surrounding us, the impurities of the lust, greed, pride, anger, illusion, enviousness, our pure disposition of being grateful is covered. So one day he gives this gift. They have a backyard and there are 6 roses, 6 bushes basically, and then he just takes out one and then he gives it back to his mother on her birthday. And it was the same garden that she was nurturing every day. She was planting, she was taking care of the roses. So she was giving back the same thing. The author was giving back the same thing that his mother was actually growing. It was not something new. And then he says, Mom, please forgive me, I don't have anything else to give you as a gift. Please take it. The mom says, it's not the thing that counts, it's the thought that counts. The thought that you wanted to give me something as a gratitude, as a gift, as love, that itself is love. Which is very similar to what the scriptures explain, the Shastras, the Vedic scriptures, that the Supreme Lord is not looking for the opulence. He is not looking for how much grandeur you are adding to the service. He is looking at the intent. That's why it's called the Bhava Grahi Janardana in Sanskrit. He is looking at the Bhava of the devotee. not the Saragrahi. Saragrahi has a different connotation, but in this context, he is not looking at how much you are bringing in. He is looking at what you are bringing in. With love, with devotion, will accept it. And you have so many examples. The Supreme Personality of God in this incarnation as Lord Ramachandra accepted the what is that? The berries, which were not pure also, because his devotee Shabari, she tasted them to make sure that whatever she is offering is actually sweet. But the Lord accepted it. So that is the reciprocation of the Supreme Lord. He is Bhakta Vatsala. So in our life, we have to inculcate this quality of gratitude very much. And that will not only make us a perfect candidate for spirituality, but also a very, very respected human being in society. And when people see us demonstrating these qualities, they will also try to apply. The second lesson is the balance in life. Balance. His Holiness Radha Swami explains in his book about one in a very brief context about the little birds versus a hawk. Have you seen a hawk just floating in the sky, not flapping the wings too much? While the little birds they flap very hard to fly. While this majestic hawk will just float in the sky like this because of the balance it has attained with its wide spanning wings. So the author explains that the secret of success in our life is the art of balance. All of us have multiple dimensions in life. We have got professional career life. We have got a social life, which sometimes socio-spiritual life also can be called. And then we have got the family life. Most of us are family, are married people, some of them may be getting married very soon. But all of us are pretty much, in that Grihastha ashram situation. So where we have to also dedicate some time for our family. So one has to make a perfect balance between these three or four different dimensions of our life. If we ignore one thing, then that may come back at a little point at once. So the author explains that perfect balance in life is very important. And that balance can be obtained when one understands spiritual principles in the right association of people, which is also called a satsang. So that we get inspired in the spiritual principles and we apply according to our time, place, and circumstances what is the best that we can do and how best we can get that balanced state of life without burning too much ourselves in one direction. Sometimes we are too much career oriented and we keep our family, keep our spiritual life at stake. Sometimes our social life is so active that the other areas are impacted. Sometimes somebody who is too much conditioned to family life may impact the other things. So likewise, one has to make a perfect balance. And in that regard, Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, Yukta hara viharasya, Yukta chestasya karmasya, Yukta swapnava bodhasya, yogo bhavati. Krishna explains, as we are discussing in Dhyan Yoga chapter, in our Bhakti Krishna group, it's very important to attain this balance. Yukta hara viharasya. He who is temperate in his habits of eating, sleeping, working, and recreation can mitigate all the material pains by practicing the yoga system. This is just a scriptural reference for the same principle of how we should be balanced in life. One should not overeat, one should not undereat. One should only eat things which are in the mode of goodness. Because what you eat is what you are. Whatever type of food we eat, our consciousness will be tuned accordingly. So, for one who wants to maintain a very wholesome, healthy, and a life which is predominantly the mode of goodness, one should have choices made outside accordingly. The vegetables, the foodstuffs which is more recommended in the scriptures, patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam, yomi, bhaktya, tadam bhakti udharitam, ashnam, parita. Krishna explains that you offer me fruit, flower, leaf, or water with love and devotion, and I will accept it. So we should honor such acceptable foodstuffs and first offer it to Supreme Lord and then accept it. That's part of the yoga system. The yoga system is a very widespread concept, but in general, I'm just telling you. So even while sleeping, one should not oversleep because oversleeping causes laziness. And at the same time, one should also sleep at the right time, not sleep during the time when you are supposed to wake up. The modern day system has ruined our lifestyle so much that when we are supposed to be awake and engage ourselves in spiritual activities, that is the most coziest time to sleep. That is the Brahma Muhurta in the modern day calculation. Morning 4 to 6, if you ask someone, say that is the time when I get the best sleep of my life. But that is the time when one should be awake. And one should be asleep by, usually they say that the best time frame for sleeping is 6 hours from 10 to 4, around that time frame. So all these are the sattvic principles, the principles which are in mode of goodness, which we have inculcated, which help us to attain balance. The third lesson is the hawk and unsuspecting fish, which is very, very important. I will just paraphrase. The unsuspecting fish, who knew nothing but a life in the river, went about its routine like any other day, but in an instant was ripped out of its reality to meet with death. Like that fish, we routinely live our lives, hardly aware of that, hardly aware that at the least expected moment, the yellow-eyed hawk of fate, in the form of crisis, tragedy, or even death, may wrench us out of our comfortable environment. We regularly hear of it in the news or see it around us, but rarely take seriously that it could happen to us. Perhaps the lesson here is to guard against complacency and give higher priority to our spiritual needs. If the fish swam deeper, the hawk would not be able to reach it. Similarly, if we go deeper in our connection to God, we will find an inner reality so deep and so satisfying that it lifts the consciousness to a place where we could deal with the effects of unforeseeable fate with a stable, detached mind. A very, very important lesson. The fish under the water is actually oblivious about what's going to happen in the next moment. But somebody from the sky is actually targeting. And the modern day best example is drone attacks. Some of these antisocial elements are planning their things so active, and boom, something somewhere hidden in the sky is tracking and can actually drop the bombshell. Of course, that's for the wrong, for the right output that the wrong or antisocial elements need to eliminate it. But the point is, all of us are also under that hawk state. Anytime death can walk. Srimad Bhagavatam explains that our life is always under the spell of a serpent. The serpent of time. It's called Kala Vyam. The serpent is constantly hovering its hood on our head. And when time comes, we may not be aware, the serpent is aware. And just imagine if you're watching a TV show, and you're completely oblivious to the TV show very nicely, and somebody else is watching you, a deadly cobra snake, for example, sitting next to you. What will happen? As long as you are not oblivious, your full attention will be in that TV show. You are enjoying it. But the moment you come to know that daily Cobra is right next to it, it's watching you, and you cannot use your remote to control it, you can control TV. Then what will happen? All your mode of enjoyment will be shattered. Similarly, when we just slightly expand our thought process and look at the things that happen in this world, it is a no-brainer concept that we will also be subject to the same thing one point. Recently, we had seen such a devastating natural calamity in Nepal. So many innocent people died. None of them anticipated this thing that happened. And even as adding further insult to injury, the after effect of the earthquake after a couple of days also again few thousand people died. So much of tragedy. We never know, and it will not be very surprising if something happens tomorrow here, because we are always under this uncertainty of the material nature. Anytime, anywhere, anything can happen. The scriptures explain that every living entity is always subjected to three types of miseries: the adhyatmika klesha, adhibhautika klesha, and adhidaivika klesha. The adhyatmika klesha is the miseries because of our own body and mind. Like today, I am suffering with a bad food infection, food cough. That's a testimonial. And then adhibhautika, the miseries caused by the other living entities, like the cobra snake that we just discussed, or our neighbors, the friends, other living entities, terrorists, this kind of people, or mosquitoes, animals. And then the third misery is adhidaivika. If you survive the first two, then third thing catch you. Earthquakes, tornadoes, tsunamis. Time and again, so many people are washed off. Sometimes very difficult to even understand why such a harsh punishment is being given. There is a slight correlation to collective karma for that matter, but it's very painful to see our fellow human beings passing away like that. So, if we are oblivious about that fact, it's just so that if we close our eyes, doesn't mean that the world is not seeing us. Similarly, it doesn't mean that if we are oblivious, that ignorance is not bliss in this case. It doesn't mean that death will not come to us. So one should be prepared for the death, and one should not live. One should not pass through an unceremonious death. One should do some preparation. The whole idea of these Vedic scriptures is to prepare ourselves for that final test, the death. The death can come at any time, but are we prepared? And prepare ourselves for that inevitable, unexpected moment is nothing but the spirituality. It's not that somebody should practice at the end of their life or in the old days, nothing like that. It is how effectively you are prepared to deal the situation, to combat the situation. And what is the perfect passing criteria? That at any given point of time, you should be remembering Krishna. Anta kaleja mameva smaran bhutva kalega. Yah prayat samarthavam yatri rashtrata. Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita that at the time of your passing this body, if you remember me, you will attain my abode. This is my promise. Of this there is no doubt. So our goal is, how can we practice ourselves to remember the Supreme God? Anytime, anytime. In this context, I just took this one verse from Mahabharata, which is asked by Yaksha, who is Yamaraj in disguise. He asked this question to Yudhishthira. To Pandavas, all the four Pandavas, they fail to answer or they don't want to answer. But Yudhishthira Maharaj, the eldest of them, the most wisest, he actually answers. He says, the question is, what is the most wonderful thing within this world? The answer is so beautiful. He says, Ahani ahani bhutani gachanti hi yamare sesha sthavanam ichanti kim ascharyan atharam. He says hundreds and thousands of living entities meet death every moment. But a foolish living being nonetheless thinks himself deathless and does not prepare for death. This is the most wonderful thing in this world. It tells about people like me. That the death can come at any time, but we think that as if it is not going to come to me. So everyone has to die because everyone is fully under control of material nature. Yet everyone thinks that he is independent, that whatever he likes, he can do, that he will never meet death, but live forever, and so on. So one has to take this matter very seriously. One has to accept the fact that death is inevitable, and death is not the end of our life, end of this body is true. But after death, there is next destination. So whatever we have done, it will create a new destination or new life for us. And we want a life which is full of happiness. Nobody wants misery. So for that, there's a formula. And the formula explained in Bhagavad Gita that we try to practice in this day and age. And that will be a matter of discussion at a different time. But such an important thing. So, the lesson 4 is from lessons from Mother Ganges. I'll just read through it quickly. Spread out around me on all sides was Mother Ganges in her winter dress of sparkling, undulating aqua. Her waves rippled and swirled as if intoxicated by her own beauty. No human artist can capture even a moment of this unending display. This is when the author was meditating the whole day on a rock in Himalayas. For 30 days, he took a vow that he was surviving on 2 carrots. In whole 24 hours, just 2 carrots. Who was, it was being given as a charity to him by one carrot nearby. And just as the heart was created, simultaneously disappeared. I took from this a lesson. All beautiful forms of this world are in the process of transformation. Nothing is stable. With every moment, our reality is changing. Every moment. Mother Ganges, like nature, is constant, but no manifestation of her remains. Of hers remains. Likewise, all that what we hold here in this world is imperceptibly vanishing. We cannot cling to anything. But if we can appreciate the beauty of the underlying current of truth, we can enjoy a reality deeper than the fickle waves of joy and sorrow. I sat a submissive student trying to learn from my teacher. Such a deep, wonderful lesson. She begins her course from high in the Himalayas and flows without cease to the sea. Innumerable obstacles, huge rocks, fallen trees, or even mountains block her way, but nothing will stop her journey into the sea. Gracefully, she flows over, under, and around all obstructions. Mother Ganges teaches us that if we want to attain the sea of our aspiration, we must persevere in our goal and never be discouraged by the inevitable obstacles that come in our path. All impediments are like rocks in the river of life. We should flow around them and never give up. With the Lord's help, there is always a way. So 2 sub-lessons within this particular great teacher, Mother Ganges. One is, the life is temporary. It's constantly changing. All of us are undergoing transformations. So if we get clinged or attached to certain things in this material world, then it will only give us more despair and frustration. Rather, one should be attached to something which is more constant. The thing that is constant is what? Which is the soul problem. The body is always changing. Beauty is one thing in this world which we are all attached to. At a point when the best age of one's the lifespan is, the age time frame, youth, when one is very beautiful, one has the best of his abilities, and one is always attracted to opposite sex. But the same body, take 30 years later, will you be able to appreciate the same beauty? The beauty is changing. The beauty was a temporary manifestation of that body at that point in time, which is so temporary in nature. So one should not be attached to this artificial beauty in this world, as Prabhuji explained. Rather, one should be attached to this beautiful creator behind this beauty. And the second lesson is there will be so many impediments in our life. When we set a goal, all the impediments towards achieving that goal will become part of our life. And we have to deal with it. We can't escape. We can't have a bypass solution always. So one should be prepared and one should have that perseverance and determination. And Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, that Machitta sarva durgani mat prasada parishyasi atachet tvam ahankara na srosyasi vinamshyasi. He explains, if you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of this conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness but act through false ego, not hearing you will be lost. So, the underlying principle is when we take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, as he explained in Bhagavad Gita, he gives us that perseverance because we need some higher authority, some power who can help us when we fall down. We want someone who can lift us up, who can give us that courage. And that's why Bhagavad Gita is that body of knowledge which gives us the strength. And that's why it is required for every living entity, not only for so-called practicing Hindus or anybody, but it is a message, a knowledge for the whole mankind. So that when we are in the situation of a crisis, we don't get lost. We act very confidently, we act with right wisdom in the best interest of our soul in the long-term perspective. So, with that, these are the 4 brief lessons that we thought of covering today. And this is the book, The Journey Home. On the left is the American edition, The Journey Home that you see. And then on the right is the one that is in the previous edition, and that's more in India. So we'll skip. This is a brief description about this book, and you all can feel free to look at the book and the different chapters that we have got. So at this time, I just want to take the time to go through this 5-minute quick video. How does it play? It's just a 5-minute interview. At this time, if there are any questions or any comments, any ideas, any thoughts, anybody want to share anything, please feel free.
What is he doing currently? Where is he stationed at?
So, Radha Swami is a traveling monk. So he keeps traveling from different places. He is a sannyasi. He doesn't stay put at one place. So he keeps traveling. So right now he's in the United States, and I don't know if he is in North Carolina.
Next week is a long time.
Next week. So he conducts a lot of retreats. If you just go to radhaswami.com, you will see his schedule. So he will do a lot of yoga festivals, just corporate seminars, and a lot of such activities. So, one second, I just want to play this video. Bear with me a moment, please. Meanwhile, if you have any points, I really would like to encourage you to ask them or share. Feel free, it doesn't have to be in context, it can be out of context also. No, actually, I put the URL thing here, but it didn't work. So, I just
It's got it. You can play right now.
So much fun. Radhanath Swami's new book is called The Journey Home. It's right here. It marks his epic quest for spirituality through India. Radhanath is in Seattle for a few speaking events, but he is with us this morning. Thank you so much for stopping by.
I'm so grateful to be with you. Thank you for this opportunity. It began, I guess, when you were a little later. You started off. Yes. And told me you had a terrifying experience. Tell us about that, if you would. Well, I was about 5 years old. Actually 8 years old. And I was in the basement with my friend. And my friend told me that his parents hated me. And they told him that God hated me. Because you were Jewish. Because I was Jewish. That was very confusing to me. And I was trying to understand in my very small impressionable mind how can you be a loving God? There's so much hatred in this world. And that really kind of set me on a search for the inner essence of what life is about.
So that was you say at 19 is when you went on this quest, the spiritual quest. Tell us how your family and friends reacted when you decided to do this.
I left with one of my friends for a summer holiday to Europe, promising my parents that I would be in college. But my spiritual thirst, looking for meaning and fulfillment in life, to understand this was during the counterculture. When the Vietnam War and civil rights were blazing issues, I was really questioning. And ultimately, I allowed to recruit I had a calling to go to India. So I hitchhiked to India. And I wrote a letter to my parents from the States that I'm not going to India. And I know return address. So how I responded, you could imagine.
Sure. But with a lot of support, or no?
I was amazed at the story of you when you were in India. You snuck into a temple at risk of being thrown in prison and beaten. And how you disguised yourself. You were thrown out, you were hit with a club and then thrown out, and then you disguised yourself with ashes and things like that, and you snuck back in, and that moment must have been amazing for you when you were not only allowed in, but you were embraced by the spiritual leaders. How did that happen?
Well, I really believed in the unity and the essence of all religions, and I really wanted to have an experience of these different spiritual traditions. And that yearning was so deep in my heart that I was willing to take many risks. And I find that if we really seek the essence of life, the essence of spirituality, then miraculous things happen. Things open up that could never happen before.
We are so consumed with our everyday lives, day in and day out, the stress, and it's so hard for so many of us to be present. What is the message you want to say right now, the one thing you've learned that you want to share?
Everyone is looking for pleasure. Whatever sex or nationality or religion or even species, everyone is looking for pleasure. And the essence of pleasure is to love and to be loved. And that pleasure is dormant within the heart of every living being. And to access that love within us is the true fulfillment that we're all looking for. It's the purpose of every great religion, to seek the essence within ourselves, our relationship with God, and our relationships with all living beings. And to be an instrument of compassion is the greatest need in this world. And to go beyond sectarian concepts and really search for the essence within ourselves is where we can find true peace, true fulfillment, and be an instrument of that to others. And we believe that chanting divine sound vibrations or mantras helps us to awaken and access that source of love that's within all of us.
Well, Swami, it's an honor to meet you. And I may come tonight just to ask you the question, how do you meditate on a rock in the Ganges River for a month? We don't have time to go into that, unfortunately, but thank you so much for the story.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, it's been a pleasure. We have 3 copies of the signed book. If you want a chance at one of them, go to q13fox.com, click on the free on Fox button. And if you would like to meet the Swami, he's going to be at the Seattle Center for Spiritual Living. That is tonight at 6:30. Saturday, he's going to be at the downtown Seattle Borders bookstore at 11 a.m. And Saturday night at 7:30, he will be at the Vedic, is that the same Vedic Cultural Center in Sanesh? Okay, there we have it. I guarantee you will not be able to put this book down once you open it up. Swami, thank you so much.
Thank you.
When was this introduced?
2010. This book was published in 2009 and this was in 2010. And since then, this book has been launched by the President of India, the previous President Pratibha Patil. It was also launched in multiple languages, in Gujarati, Telugu, Hindi, Marathi, several Indian languages. Also launched by Narendra Modi ji, or Honorable Prime Minister now. He was the Chief Minister of Gujarat. So very well-respected book and very wonderful book to read through. If you want to grab a copy, please feel free. It doesn't talk about anything about religion, about philosophy, but just about personal experience and beautiful lessons in life. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Krishna Prabhupada ki. If anybody have any questions or your things, we can discuss. At this time, I'm going to.